Hello and welcome to my home. Today we're going to talk about some tips for starting your herbs indoors to get them ready for the outside growing season in your containers. So I'm going to give you several tips on that. But before we get there, I want to let you know that also on my channel I have some easy and tasty recipes for you to fix. I have product reviews, I have some meditation videos, and of course I have other container garden videos that you should check out. For example, I have one on how to plan and start your container gardening on your deck or your patio or your porch, and a video on frost dates. So check all those out when you get a chance. But for now, let's get to those tips for your herbs. The herbs that I'm focusing on today is going to be basil, parsley, sorry for my chicken scratch handwriting, and rosemary. So what I did to prepare these seeds is I have them in a little small container. It's not that big. You see how big that container is compared to my hand. And I have some warm water, lukewarm water in there, and put my seeds in there, and they've been soaking overnight. And I want to tell you that this is what happens. If I can get them real close, you can see, if you see that these seeds have swelled, and you can see little, I'm going to say cloud-like substances around the seeds. To see if I can get a better shot. And you can see that the seed has swollen. Yep. Here's the rosemary. And they have started to show that they also have absorbed water because they're a little bit bigger. Now they don't have the cloud-like substance around it like the basil, but you know, seeds are different. Different seeds behave differently. So that's one thing to bear in mind when you're doing your herb garden. These herbs have their own little minds and their own little growing pattern. You want to use a south-facing window. Now this is where I've been growing some of my herbs, and you see they're in different stages. Where I've been growing different vegetable plants, and they're in different stages. It's nighttime right now, so you can't see the sun. Tip number 3 is that your pots need to have drain holes. Has a drain hole here that I'm sticking my little skewer in. One here and one here. So this helps keep the soil from getting too wet, which in turn keeps your roots of your plants from getting too soggy. And since I'm going to grow those herbs directly in this pot, I want to make sure the water is draining out nicely. So I'm going to reuse some potting mix that I had in here. Again, this is potting mix. It is not topsoil. Topsoil is too heavy and dense for using in your containers, and it is not soil from your yard. Your yard has that similar type of consistency of topsoil, so you don't want to use that in your containers. You need this type of potting mix made specifically for your containers. Now I'm going to feel around in here and get out any. I tried to get out all of last season's roots, but I see there's another root right here. So I'm going to put that in my little recycle bag. I have put that much in of the older potting mix right in there. And what I'm going to use on top of that is some seed starter mix. I think I'm going to put more because I'm not going to put that much seed starter. I'm only going to put about an inch and a half of seed starter in each pot. So this is the pot. I'm going to put my rosemary in this pot. Little rosemary will go here. And what I'm going to do is put some of that seed starter. Now I'm just using, this is just Hasten brand. There are other brands you can use. It's just, and it says seed starter mix. And I'm going to sprinkle about a good inch on top of there. And I'm going to show you how fine that is. It's light and airy. And you don't have to, don't put a whole pot of seed starter. I mean, seed starter is a little pricier than the regular soil, so this helps cut down on using too much of your seed starter, because you just don't need that much. You just need enough for it to settle in, and so it can make the roots go down, and so it can push up through that soil all nice. So okay, now I'm going to spray some of that warm water on the bottom. This is lukewarm. It's not really warm, just lukewarm. We're mimicking nature. Yes, honey, this is Mother Nature talking. I have my seeds all engineered. They're engineered to watch out for the warming of that soil from the spring rain and from the sun coming down on it and the moisture. Honey, when they feel all that coming together, they're ready to just pop up and say hello to you. Yes, honey. Mother Nature knows what she's doing. Okay, well, thank you, Mother Nature. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to make this. You're going to plant these very, very lightly in the soil. So I'm just going to barely make an indentation with my finger. I'm making little lanes. And we're going to drop the seeds in. And then lightly cover them up. That's all. Just like that. It's about 1/4 of an inch, basically. Here are the seeds in that water, and to get them out, I'm going to go back to my old friend, well, I call it a kebab skewer, you know, where you're cooking out, you put your chicken and your meat on it. Use my old friend the kebab. I'm going to use the blunt end and basically pick up a seed right off the end. And just drop it in. And then you're going to have to wipe off the tip and go back in and do it again. So guys, what I decided to do is, with the rosemary, most of those seeds sunk to the bottom, was making it a little difficult. So I poured out the water, and I placed the seeds onto just a paper towel, and I'm going to take it from the paper towel onto the seeds. Excuse me, I'm going to take it from the paper towel and put it into the pot. So that's a couple ways you can get these seeds that have been soaked into the pot. So let's go from there. Now I think this is one more seed. Put that there. Okay. Now let me cover this one back up. Very, very lightly. Pat it in. Put some more of that lukewarm water. Here's the plastic wrap. I'm just going to put over here gently. And what that is going to do is act like a little mini, if I could talk. So what this is going to do by putting this saran wrap on here, or plastic wrap, is that it's going to act like a little mini greenhouse. And so it's going to help trap the moisture, and when the sun comes in through the window, it'll help heat it up. And it'll give the seeds that information it needs to say, hey, it's time to get up. So that's the rosemary. Let me give you a good shot. I'm again putting some of that seed starter on top. And I'm going to wet that down with some warm water. I'm going to make some little rows. Just a little row. Only 1/4 inch deep. And again, you're going to just lightly poke it in, put the soil around it, and that'll pull the seed off. Now it will get dirty, so you'll have to wipe it. And I'm going to do the same for all these rows. Okay, I got my parsley planted. I got my little label, got today's date on it, so I know how long it's been in there. That way I know if after, I think parsley is about 10 days. Excuse me, parsley is 21 days. If something hasn't peaked up, I know there's something wrong and I can redo it again. But I think we're going to have good success. Let's plant that basil. Now, it's interesting because the basil was so swollen, all these seeds kind of like clumped together. So I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm just going to kind of rub it against the soil and get it in there. And if two come off at one time, that's fine. And just kind of gently scrape it off, pick it off. It's like really adhering because they're ready to sprout. There you have it. I got all 3 of my pots filled with wonderful herb seeds, basil, rosemary, and parsley. I have them all again with that plastic wrap on top to help give it some warmth, and retain the moisture. They're like a little mini greenhouse. And so Mother Nature has programmed them, as she said, to look out for warmth and moisture. So we're giving them both. Well, if this has been helpful for you, hit the like button and hit subscribe and the notification bell so you know when I have put out another new video. I'll be doing a lot of videos on planting on the outside as well, planting from seeds outside fresh, if I can use that word, and working on the garden and some tips along the way for that as well. Well, that's it for now. Bye-bye.